He discovered that our mom had transferred the house to me 3 years ago through a life estate deed. The whole time, he'd been living on my property rent-free while secretly plotting to steal it. The lawyer from the title company held up the recorded deed, proving I'd been the legal owner since our mother's death 6 months ago. Meanwhile, my brother Connor had forged documents, claiming to be the sole heir. But the real shock arrived when the buyer's attorney revealed why they had called me in. Connor had taken a $200,000 sale deposit from 3 different buyers. They wanted to know if I intended to press criminal charges. My name is Jessica Romano, and I'm standing in a title company office, watching my brother realize he's not just losing the house he tried to steal, he's facing prison time for fraud. But to understand how we reached this moment, you need to know why our mother made sure Connor could never touch her most valuable asset. Mom raised us alone after our dad died when I was 10 and Connor was 15. She worked 2 jobs to keep the San Diego house that had been in our family for 60 years. By the time she retired, that little craftsman in North Park was worth over $800,000. Her entire net worth was wrapped up in that piece of California real estate. Connor always resented that I was the easy child while he struggled with everything. He dropped out of college, bounced between jobs, and eventually moved back home at 35 with a string of failed businesses and bitter excuses. Mom let him stay temporarily, a temporary arrangement that lasted 12 years. I became a nurse, married my college sweetheart, David, and moved to Portland for his job. We visited Mom every month, called daily, and helped with bills when her pension fell short. Connor lived in her basement, contributed nothing, and complained about everything. He'd tell Mom, "Jessica gets to live her fancy life in Portland while I'm stuck here taking care of you." As if playing video games all day was caregiving. The dynamic shifted when Mom was diagnosed with dementia 5 years ago. Early stages, manageable with medication, but she needed more help. I wanted to move her to Portland where I could provide daily care. Connor exploded. "You're not stealing Mom away. This is her home. I'm here for her." Mom, still lucid enough to make decisions, chose to stay. "Connor needs me," she said sadly. "Without this house, where would he go?" So I flew down monthly, arranged home health aides, managed medications, and paid for everything while Connor lived rent-free, and called himself her primary caregiver. The resentment festered on both sides. Then, 3 years ago, during a lucid period, Mom called me in tears. "Connor's been taking money from my accounts. The house taxes are overdue. I think he's planning something." I flew down immediately. What I found horrified me. Connor had convinced Mom to add him to her bank accounts and had drained them. He'd taken out credit cards in her name. He'd even tried to get a reverse mortgage but couldn't complete it without her signature. "It's for investments," he claimed when confronted. "I'm trying to help. You're not stealing from your mother with dementia. She's not that bad. You always exaggerate." That week, Mom and I visited her estate attorney. Despite Connor's claims, she was still legally competent with proper support. The lawyer suggested a life estate deed. Mom would retain the right to live in the house until death, but ownership would transfer to me immediately. This would protect the house from Connor's schemes and any potential creditors, he explained. "But what about Connor?" Mom asked. "He can continue living there as your guest," the lawyer said. "But he can't sell it, mortgage it, or inherit it. It's Jessica's property the moment you sign, though you keep residency rights." Mom signed without hesitation. "I love my son, but I know what he is. This house is my only legacy. I won't let him destroy it." We recorded the deed properly, sent Connor formal notice, and I assumed he understood. He raged for weeks but eventually seemed to accept it. Mom's condition worsened, and I focused on her care, not realizing Connor was plotting. 6 months ago, Mom passed peacefully with me by her side. Connor was at a casino. We found out later he'd stolen her credit card for one last gambling spree while she died. At the funeral, he played the grieving son beautifully, promising to take care of everything at the house. I was grieving, exhausted, and made the mistake of trusting him. I returned to Portland to arrange extended leave, planning to return and properly handle the estate. That's when Connor made his move. He created fraudulent documents claiming to be the sole beneficiary. He destroyed the notice about the life estate deed we'd sent him. He told realtors Mom had changed her will last minute, and he found buyers, multiple buyers, eager for a below-market cash deal on an $800,000 house. The text came while I was at work. Just sold Mom's house. Your share is 0 since you never visited her. I was here. I deserve it. Already cashed the check. Don't bother coming back. My hands shook with rage. Never visited? I'd spent $40,000 on flights, taken unpaid leave, managed her entire medical care while he lived like a parasite. I called immediately. Connor, you can't sell the house. The life estate deed. Nice try, but I found Mom's real will. The one where she left everything to me. You abandoned us, Jessica. This is karma. He hung up. I immediately called our family lawyer, who confirmed what I knew. Connor couldn't legally sell anything. The house was mine the moment Mom died. Any sale would be fraud. But he's already taken money from buyers, I said. Then he's committed fraud. Possibly wire fraud if he used electronic transfers. This is criminal, Jessica. I flew to San Diego that night. The next morning, I walked into the title company where Connor was supposed to close on the sale. He was there in his best thrift store suit, charming the elderly buyers about what a sacrifice it was to sell his beloved mother's home. But it's what she would have wanted, he said sadly. New families making memories. Connor, I said from the doorway, we need to talk. His face went white, then red. What are you doing here? Stopping a felony. The title company's lawyer, Ms. Tran, looked between us carefully. I think we need to discuss this privately. In the conference room, I presented the life estate deed, death certificate, and my ID. Ms. Tran examined everything and nodded grimly. Mr. Romano, this sale cannot proceed. Miss Jessica Romano has been the legal owner since your mother's passing. You have no authority to sell this property. That's impossible. I have her will. Connor produced a crudely forged document that wouldn't fool a child. Even if that will were legitimate, which it clearly isn't, Miss Tran stated. A will cannot supersede a recorded deed. The house transferred outside of probate upon death. That's when the buyer's attorney dropped the bomb about the multiple buyers and deposits. Connor had taken $200,000 each from 3 different couples, promising the same house. That's a misunderstanding, Connor stammered. I was just holding backup offers with non-refundable deposits. The attorney pulled out contracts. You told each buyer they were getting the house. That's fraud. Connor turned to me. Desperation replaced arrogance. Jessica, please. We can work this out. Family doesn't forge documents and steal houses. I cut him off. Family doesn't take money from grieving daughters. Family doesn't gamble away their mother's credit cards while she's dying. I was there for her. You weren't. I have receipts for 127 flights over 5 years, credit card statements for $50,000 in medical bills, phone logs showing daily calls. What do you have, Connor? Besides a gambling addiction and a sense of entitlement. Miss Tran cleared her throat. Ms. Romano, the buyers want their money returned. Since your brother appears to have spent it, they're prepared to press charges unless you can help recover their funds. I looked at Connor, really looked at him. 47 years old, living in our dead mother's basement, stealing from elderly couples desperate for a home. He had become everything Mom feared. I'll cover one deposit, I said finally. The elderly couple, the Nakamuras. They were downsizing to be near grandchildren, right? I'll make them whole. The others, I shrugged, are Connor's problem. Jessica, please. You have 48 hours to return the other $400,000 or I'm pressing charges for fraud, forgery, elder abuse, and identity theft. That's in addition to whatever these buyers do. Connor broke down crying, not from remorse, but from being caught. The meeting ended with police being called to take reports. Connor was arrested on the spot when he couldn't explain where $600,000 in deposits had gone. The investigation revealed the depth of his schemes. He'd been planning this for years, creating fake documents, establishing false narratives about being the sole caregiver. He'd even hidden Mom's mail to intercept legal notices. The gambling addiction had driven him to desperate measures. He owed money to dangerous people and saw Mom's house as his lifeline. I paid the Nakamura's deposit back and offered them first chance to buy the house at fair market value. They accepted gratefully, happy to pay $825,000 for a home they thought they were getting for $650,000 in a fraudulent cash deal. Connor took a plea deal. 3 years for fraud, plus restitution to the victims he couldn't repay. He'll be nearly 50 when released with no home, no family, and a felony record. At sentencing, he gave a teary speech about being the forgotten child who sacrificed everything to care for Mom. The judge, who'd reviewed evidence of my actual caregiving versus his parasitic existence, wasn't moved. "Mr. Romano, you didn't sacrifice anything. You took everything. Your mother's money, her peace of mind, your daughter's inheritance. You're not a victim. You're a predator who targeted your own family." I sold Mom's house to the Nakamuras, who filled it with grandchildren's laughter. I donated Connor's belongings to charity and used the proceeds to pay for his prison account. Enough for basic necessities, nothing more. It's what Mom would have wanted, even after everything. The house profits went into a trust for dementia research and caregiver support. Mom's real legacy isn't the property Connor tried to steal. It's the lesson that love sometimes means protecting people from those who would exploit them. Even when those predators share your DNA. Connor writes sometimes, alternating between apologies and accusations. I don't respond. He made his choice the day he decided Mom's death was his payday. I made mine the day I decided her life was worth more than his greed. The Nakamuras invited me to dinner last month. The house looks different now, brighter, fuller, alive with the energy of a family who chose to be there. They showed me the garden where Mom's roses still bloom. "Your mother raised good children," Mrs. Nakamura said kindly. "One of them, anyway." I laughed, surprising myself. She was right. Mom raised one good child and one cautionary tale. Connor can blame me for his circumstances, but the truth is simple. You can't sell what was never yours, and you can't steal what someone already gave away. The house is gone from our family, but it was gone the moment Connor chose greed over gratitude. At least now it shelters people who paid for it honestly instead of a son who thought inheritance was owed rather than earned. Somewhere in a California prison, Connor's probably still convinced he's the victim. But the real victims, Mom, the buyers he defrauded, the family he destroyed, we've all moved on. The house stands, the roses bloom, and the son who tried to steal both sits in a cell, learning too late that the only thing he ever truly owned was the choice to be better. He chose wrong.